I like to call it a village. The village is life-changing. It looks, in terms of the culture of the village, it looks like what you see here in Ghana. You see people getting along. You don't see any fighting. You see people get mad at each other and then they make up and forget about it. You see sharing, you see other people helping other people. When I came up with this trip, I thought it was...
He doesn't come off as like he's a police officer. Everybody knows that he's with SFPD, but he's another them. He's an uncle, he's a father, he's a brother.
This is the third year, and the success has been phenomenal. Coming on this trip and being exposed to this culture, they all go back. Their interest in education goes through the roof. They all want to be successful and they all want to help.
Yes, I have a question. How many...
You could just see how the kids that he took on the trip were impacted, and then you could see the passion that he had for the trip and the difference that he was making in those kids' life. And I was like, oh my God, like this is just, I gotta be a part.
You know, it's all about supporting the community.
He has 100 stories about success.
It was my duty to connect them to their culture.
And this is the third trip, so it's like, wow.
And so I've just been kind of speechless.
What I do in San Francisco, I work with youth.
You know, the students can definitely recognize when you're really there for them.
Seeing all the beautiful things outside the window.
Like, it made me feel so good about myself. The people were more friendly there than they are here.
Still mental slavery here, that's in America too.
This is like a city with like an actual people.
Because we definitely don't learn that in school.
We're not just gonna have Black History Month in my school, we gotta have Black History here.
I think they have their everyday needs, and I think that's all you actually need.
When they're out here fighting for their life.
Everybody here is still smiling.
Like people from last year like told me about it, but I didn't believe it.
I learned more here than in school.
In schools, it doesn't even capture, it doesn't even touch the tip of the iceberg as to what our people endured or what they had to go through and experience. And I just couldn't even imagine living peacefully, you know, in a community, and then all of a sudden, because of people's greed, they capture you and they put you, and they enslave you.
You're much closer to your culture of West Africa than you think. Because the travel from West Africa to the United States by boat, listen carefully now, the travel by boat, even as horrific as it was only 40 days. You don't forget your culture in 40 days, do you? No. To the contrary, what happens when you're oppressed? Your culture is even more a part of you. So that when you land and you deal with a whole host of new things, what keeps you alive is your sense of tradition.
The detachment that we have in not having an ancestor or that we could actually call and write to. Like a lot of people that are Latin American or Asian, they have a relative that's actually in that country and that you go visit maybe for Christmas or something that your parents or grandmother still is in contact with. So we don't have that. You know, the furthest we go is down south. My mother's from Alabama or from Mississippi.
These obstacles you need to overcome. Nothing is easy in life. And nothing is easy for African Americans in America.
I feel like I want to learn where I'm from now and like where I come from and who my ancestors are, because I don't know that, and nobody in my family really talks about like Africa and like where we really come from, like our roots. It just makes me want like be proud to be Black, and just because we're going through a lot out here, they're going through way more. Yeah.
It's hard being an African-American man in the United States. The police are always somewhat cautious of what I do, and the people around me, they look at me different because I'm African-American.
the children of their manners and be respectful when they go into and see other cultures, my Heavenly Father. Again, we say thank you. Thank you for this gift. Thank you for the experience, and they'll be careful to say, in Jesus' name, amen.
My hopes when they went was to get in touch with their culture, get in touch with their history, because I know in the public school system, even charter schools, it's not really taught unless when you go to college, you could kind of seek out and take African American studies. So that was my first goal, was like, so that they would learn, because individually, I really didn't know how their family life was. I didn't know what they were being taught at home, but I knew this would take them, even if they're being taught, their culture, this would take them to a whole nother level with them actually touching, feeling, getting a passport and actually flying to the motherland, because that's something that people rarely get an opportunity to do. I think we've been kind of programmed to be kind of detached from Africa. It's not a place where we have a connection. Like, there's not many people that actually know what country, what tribe they're actually from.
Ghana is the first country in all of Africa to gain its independence. The culture here today is the same culture that was here even before slavery took place. So they get a chance to see how it was before Africans went to America.
I didn't really have such a in-depth thought of Africa. I thought it was like just savannah and like huts and stuff. Once I got here, I realized that this is like a city with like an actual people.
I thought that they wouldn't like us because I was hearing African people didn't like African Americans. My impression changed because they're really friendly towards us.
Step off the plane, Kotoka Airport, Accra. Soccer is our favorite sport. There go the car is here, take my bag to the taxi.
I felt home in a way, not really oh my gosh, I'm home, but this is where I need to be.
Yeah, smiles are free, they are not by force, they are not fake. We have a lot of...
I didn't really have any, insight about Africa.
You are welcome.
Compared to the U.S., and how we live, it's a big culture difference, and it's just they're just really happy.
In the U.S., if you're walking down the street, people won't even look twice at you. But here, just driving down, people are waving at you, they're smiling, and acting acknowledge your presence in the town.
When I landed here for the first time and looking out the window, I was like, wow, I'm here. I finally made it.
There's no way to express how it feels to come to a community or a country where everyone looks like you. And you could go, that's my cousin. That's my uncle. That's my brother. Because the people, we're from here in some way.
Just like you. Yes, I'm a human being. I'm a human being. I'm a human being. I'm a human being.
We were in Kumasi to see how much they loved on one another, how they loved each other's kids. They didn't it was a guy that we were walking with that was a tour guide, and he walked up to the kid and gave it a big hug. He was like, I love you. And then he had said it in a different language. I asked him what he said. He was like, I love him. And I was like, why? Why did you say that? And I'm like, he was like, I don't know, it's just beautiful. It's home. It's I love all the people here. This is my family. This is my cousins. This is my brothers. And I'm like, whoa. And just to see that was awesome. He loves someone he doesn't even know. And I'm scared to tell my mom I love her on a daily basis. This is I gotta change, and that just made me love my culture just a little bit more.
I didn't see any shopping carts, I didn't really see any shopping bags. They had things on their head, which they would carry their merchandise. Also, there were a lot of kids also doing the same thing, so it wasn't just the adults selling things, it was also young people selling merchandise.
Just like you. Just like you.
Block this, leave this one. Hey, yo. Leave this one free. Only this you can block. No, don't hold this. Shake your hands like this, no. Good. 1, 2. Turn your hand like this. Oh yeah. Guys, the camera will the message.
I didn't really like the fufu. It was like a bread thing with like soup. They had goat soup, which was pretty good. I liked the spicy part of it. They had a lot of rice, like white rice, and it was red rice that was kind of spicy. The pineapples were delicious. They were white. They were really good. The fruit was really good overall. It was good. I was scared to try it because I don't like trying new things.
I didn't know like Africa had like the beautiful parts. It's very green and I didn't know it was gonna be like that. I thought it would be like just dirt, shacks. Not to be rude, but like that's just what I pictured from what the media portrays it to be.
I thought like Africa would be like a desert or something and just naked people walking around and like a lot of villages and stuff. Now that I actually came here, it's like a regular city. It's just like a poor neighborhood or something, not how people make it seem. The people are nice. It's nothing like the people in the United States. Like they'll look at you funny, but here they'll greet you, they'll talk to you like they've known you their whole life.
Just like it is like at home. There's the good parts and the bad.
Everybody here was beautiful and respectful, and they were always, you know, looking at us and waving. They were welcoming.
My highlight was going to the village, the first village, and seeing all the little kids. Like they were so happy to see us. They were all so friendly. Even the adults though, they were really friendly, like loving with open arms. And I didn't expect that because in San Francisco, you know, people are kind of mean and then they don't speak to you on the street. Like I was taught like to smile at people everywhere I go. And then when I got older, I still do it and people would mug me. So I stopped doing it.
We'll get in later, all right?
Everybody likes chocolate. We are from cocoa. So if the farmer who is in charge sees to it that most of the cocoa turn from green to yellow, the man will just walk around the whole farm and pluck the yellow ones down. The green ones, they are not ready for harvest. When they are ready for harvest, they will turn from green to yellow. As you see, don't bite it, lick it as a toffee.
It's cocoa, for real.
We can just manufacture soap. The soap we use to bath. We call it the black soap.
So we call this one the soft gin. So to get the high gin, the farmer needs to gather more of this, about 2 or 3 gallons. I'm not talking about a small gallon, but a very big gallon. So who want to have a try? First thing first, the typer have to try, the tall guy have to try, then the rest will try.
Don't drop it. What does it taste like?
It's terrible. No, it's hot. You want to feel it? Feel it. In the beginning, you get a red color. You pound it like fufu. Here. And 2 people can do it. You do it alternate, one after the other. When he pounds, you also raise it.
It's ready.
It's like that.
You still got the baby?
I
I go and ask them, they will cut it nicely for you. Then you decide on which of the symbols are familiar to you that you would want to make on your strip.
Okay.
I think I'm going to use Ginny May.
These are the various symbols and the cross stamps, except God. Leadership is made of calabash. I think you know calabash. Yeah, after this one. Take your time.
From there, we move to Kumasi, where we visit a village where they make kente cloth. And that experience alone is something that's worth $1 million in gold.
I'll give you the history of the cloth, how it came into being. In the olden days, we were weaving a type of cloth, and I would like to show you. Please, what I'm holding in my hand right now is a kente strip. And strip weaving has existed in West Africa since the 11th century.
It was actually amazing because I'm thinking, oh, kente cloth is made by, knitting, and I thought I knew. And when I got there, it was like a slap in the face. I'm thinking, wow, these handy men, like they were sitting here working back and forth, and then they fix it and they put it. It's like a whole process to the making of kente cloth that I thought I knew, but I really didn't. So I had to rethink everything and reconsider all that I've been saying. Because, like I said, you get brainwashed and you think you know everything. You don't know everything.
So right now, we are setting up our background.
They say everything is made from China. And what I've just seen recently on one of our trips, kente cloth is not made in China. They make it handmade with the rods that they handmade. Like everything is made of bamboo and like wood that they've created all by themselves. And that's a unique structure to have in their businesses. And it doesn't cost them a dime because they have wood all around them. And they're handy men.
That is your favorite car. It's your favorite car. So you need some.
Huh?
Do you want to buy some?
I might. On the way. I mean, cause I see a lot of it in the shop.
And so you're going to buy some of them?
It's just crazy seeing like how everything is made because we don't look at how things are made and what processes goes into making like certain stuff like the kente cloth and stuff. Like you would never expect like they have to do so much work for something that we don't even like think about. Like when I'm on honor roll and stuff and they give us little cloths to go around, like it's like 1,000 of us. It took like a whole bunch of people to make 1,000 kente cloths. So just interesting seeing the process.
You see these people working very hard with little means to build these beautiful, intricate patterns on these cloths. And the machinery they use is not anything modern with electricity. It's hands and feet and eye coordination to make pattern after pattern.
Like this.
They're doing it with honor.
Now, it's just a demonstration.
In my eyes, I can only say it's nothing but sacred.
These are the same procedures that we have to follow. Yes, nothing goes out. So I will tie them together this way. So any question before we go?
The best experience I had so far was probably going to the village and seeing like how the people had so little, but they acted like they had just the world in their village. They were just so humble.
You want to take a picture? You guys want to take a picture? Come on.
I've never seen so many black people in one place before. It wasn't like a ooh feeling at all. Like it was like welcoming.
One of the worst things was giving stuff out to the kids in the first village because they were so anxious to get it that they didn't know how to act, like when receiving it. Like they were like running up and like piles of people. Like I even started to run for a minute because I was like getting so scared because I didn't know, like they were like bum rushing me. They were fighting over pens and pencils and jackets and pants. If it has to come down to them fighting over it like that, we need to find a better way to give them the things that they need in a better way that makes it more efficient to their well-being.
The first village we went to in Kumasi, when we gave out the clothes and stuff just to see how happy the people was, that was a really great experience.
One young lady broke down because kids were having a tug-of-war match over a book. And she said, well, Chico, we have books laying around all the time. We don't even care about the books. And they was having a tug-of-war over just a book. You know, she said that was so humbling to her. And she said when she gets back, she's gonna change her ways.
In San Francisco, we're fighting over shoes in malls, and we're worried about little materialistic things. When they're out here fighting for their life, actually working so they can feed their family and get this that they need. They need tools for their sheds and tools to make their businesses and keep them, you know, keep them alive. They're trying to stay alive. They get their livestock, they get everything that's needed. When you see that, it's like you think about what you need to do.
You need sponsorship in terms of cleats, jerseys, football, things like that? No problem. So just email me and we go from there, okay?
No problem.
I'm going to hold myself up to a more powerful level. I'm going to appreciate myself more. I never felt bad about being African American, so I'm still going to do me. I'm still going to be trying my hardest to become successful.
Enjoy your stay here. Everything that you want to ask, everything that you want to see, you are welcome.
A lot of people from the town came in to watch what was going on, so I feel like it wasn't just this planned thing. Well, it was planned, but a lot of people who weren't not necessarily invited, but weren't scheduled to come, just came in and then started recording us, and I felt like we were very welcome. There was a lot of people there clapping and dancing with us.
Overwhelming has been my word for this trip because I have been so overwhelmed with just the whole process and seeing the culture and seeing the people who live in Ghana. And you know, sometimes you can't put your emotions into words. It's really hard to articulate. And so I've just been kind of speechless and just trying to take in everything.
That was fun. Their dances was a lot harder than, I mean, they probably, no, because they got our dances pretty quickly. It wasn't that hard, but theirs was like more complicated. Like they did a lot with their hands and feet at the same time, like the rhythms that they went through. It was hard for us to catch up, but I think a lot of people, no, everyone tried. So that was really fun.
It like makes me feel more connected with them, that our cultures actually are like combined together and we're just not like stuck with just the way America's culture is.
Me and my group, we decided to also make something for you people. First of all, your organization was Operation Genesis Cooperative. But when we group, we also sat down, we decided to make it international because we are part of you people. So this is what we also have for you. So this is from us to you people.
Thank you so much.
The total size of the forest is 360 kilometers square. And in fact, it is a tropical, moist, semi-deciduous rainforest. Today, it is serving as a national park. It is semi-deciduous, meaning at a certain time in the year, most of the plants will drop their leaves. When the leaves drop, they form a carpet on the forest floor, 60 meters and above. This is what we call the emergent layer. The emergent layer, trees try all the time to emerge out of the thick canopy.
Well, it was hot, so it was like I was thirsty, I was sweating. I don't like to sweat, was feeling all sticky, but I did it.
Somebody may be listening to sounds of nature or the birds singing. So just focus on the bridge.
Walking across the bridges, I like that. I've seen a lot of trees, I heard the birds, but I didn't really see them. They had really big ants crawling on the trees, looked like spiders. Peaceful, it just sounded peaceful, it was quiet.
If you walk in the middle, it will bounce gently. If you walk on the sides, it will swing here and there. The canopy bridge is lying on top of the canopy layer, hence the canopy walkway. That is about 40 meters.
Our schools have bathrooms, we have microwaves, we have a big old projector. They really only have a chalkboard, and it's like their seats are really small, they squished up together. It's a big difference. Like it's not as clean, they don't have windows like that, like we have, vents or anything. It's a big difference. I think they're way happier than us. Like for me, I know I don't want to go to school all the time. I'm like, I wish I didn't have to be here today. And for them, like they actually want to go to school, unlike me. They want to be there. They want their education.
A lot of times that we talk about America, these people are from there, and they're going to interact.
I'm gonna try. It's not that I can't say I'm going to yet, because when you get back home, your mindset changes like that. But like I said, I'm gonna keep that mindset, and I'm gonna try to make sure I don't take money for granted, that I appreciate everything that I get, no matter how small, no matter how materialistic, no matter what. I'm gonna be appreciative on things. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm gonna try my best to give, because after I seen those kids, after we gave the markers and pencils and pens to them, after I seen that smile on their faces, my heart sped up. I literally started feeling for it. So when you give, it's like you're receiving at the same time.
People take school for granted. Like some days I don't want to go to school just because I don't feel like it. But the drive that the kids had to go to school make me want to have that same drive.
All you guys are beautiful. And just feel free to talk to any of them. They're nice. You can ask me any questions I want you, okay?
I don't even have to pay for school, and they want to go and they're paying for it. So I feel like even if I was paying for school, like right now, I'd have more of a drive to go, but it still wouldn't be the same. I don't know.
Who wants to try now? Yes. You want to try? Cool, let's go.
Going to the school, the middle school, the people in the middle school, like, they didn't like have like a real like school like we have in the U.S. The kids didn't have windows or doors in the building. Like, it was just like a big shed like covering the wall. And during that trip to the middle school, like, we passed out like school supply and stuff like that, and like the look on the kids' faces were, I don't know, they're just priceless. And I don't know, they're just very like thankful like for gifts that we were giving them. Also going to the school, I don't know, just talking to the kids, like, they didn't seem like depressed or anything like that. Like, they all just seemed happy. So I'm just like, wow.
They were always happy and they were always thankful. Like, kids in my community, you barely get a thank you when you sell something to them, like, or even if you give them something, like, they'll just hold out their hand for more. They're just like super thankful for everything, and that was like really, really touching, like, just to see how like thankful they were.
That's up.
Just like you. Yes, I'm a human being. I'm a human being. I'm a human being. I'm a human being.
Simon says, jump up and down.
Just like you.
Stop. Alright, Simon says, put your other hand on your foot. I'm gonna definitely start to love me and my culture way more, and take out the things that are negative about my culture and try to change that as much as possible. And being an American, I do like being American, and like being black, I'm just gonna own it. I'm gonna make sure that everyone knows it from now on. Like, at first I was shy to show my culture, but being here and see how like proud they are of their culture, I'm definitely ready to go back and show my culture and show how great I am. And I'm gonna try to work on just loving like my culture for like more, like try to make some of the food that was out here to just like remember from the times that I was out here, and kind of just make me think about the culture more that was out here and think more positive images of Africa and bring it back to the States a little bit more.
Just like you. Just like you.
I learned that I'm greedier than what I should be. Well, I'm greedy in general, and that has really woken me up to show that I can't be like that, because it's no good. It changed me. Like, now when I go home, like, I'm so anxious to go home because I'm like ready to change and show my parents that this trip has like made me change. I'm just tired of being greedy. Like, now that I see it, and like now that I've experienced something that's not, it's like people that aren't being greedy, it's like it makes me want to change and be like just like them. So like being here has definitely rubbed off on me, and like I can't wait to get home to like show that I really did change.
That's my standard of what I believe is sad versus they're not sad. Like, this is peace, this is happiness, this is contentment. And I think if they look at us in America, they probably would be sad for us, because we're always trying to attain more, more, more. We can't just be satisfied with what we have. We need the latest gadgets, the latest iPhones, the latest TVs. You know, we want to dress our kids in the best of clothes, and yet they're just happy just how they are. Like, and so I have to recondition myself to be like, this is not sad. This is peace. This is happiness. They're content.
Those living here, they came all the way from Mali. In the 14th, 15th century, there was a war in Mali.
dane ntɔkwa awɔ mu yɛ ntem ba ɛba saa no na Senegalfoɔ no na ɔmo wɔ ahoɔden paa na Marifoɔ no ntumi mu nti wɔn na Marifoɔ no nya adwene sɛ ɔwɔ sɛ ɔmo de saa sika kɔkɔ kɔdwa no nti ɛhɔnom no dako na abosom kɛntini leader nso nkɛntini nkɔfoɔ no ɔmo ntu firi hɔ na still Senegalfoɔ no da so ɛɛba nti ɔmo yɛ sɛ wie na abosom de ɔmo nam nsuo no mu saa na ɔmo bɛpie nsu kɛse wɔ mu nti ɔmo baa no na aka asase a ɔmo didi soɔ nti saa kyɛn no san kɔ ne sei sɛ ɔkɔkɔ yi nam nti ɔkɔɛ no mu sɛ dua tete bi esi hɔ nom na ɔkɔɛ ne tirim sɛ edua na esi hɔ nom na ɛbɛm sɛ si asase so nti ampa kɔɛ hwɛ no na edua no esi asase so nti ɔbaa no ɔbɔ na nam aneɛ sɛ na nya asase a ɛdidi soɔ nti saa asase na ɛwɔ hɔ no ɔno na sisi asase obi firi mu ɛwɔ kurom ha a esie no.
About 4 or 5 hours for you to get to a doctor. You can imagine it. It hasn't been easy. And they have lived here, managed their life. You see the children. Sometimes, you know, the food is always 1 week. We eat rice.
Name them. Diamond, gold, bauxite, manganese, what have you. Timber, and now oil. Yet, should I say this?
Yes.
Well, we are poor. Yes, we have all these resources, but still we are poor. Is it because of bad management? Is it because of bad governance? Well, let us decide. How are we going to help them?
It made me wonder why I get like down sometimes and I have like everything compared to these people who have nothing and are still like always so happy. It really made me just double think my choices.
Going into the village, it was a whole different scenery. Kids walking around, not at school. That was just like, why aren't y'all at school? But after talking to them, they was like, they don't really have teachers there most of the time.
It was a lot of wore down wood, a lot of people, they weren't well nourished. They didn't have any school. The school that they had didn't have a teacher. So they couldn't go to school really. They had to travel to go to school if they really wanted to. And they had to depend on each other like family to take care of each other.
If I was living like that, I don't know, I wouldn't be as happy as they were. Like, I would feel like sad, like why was I put in this position? But for them, it was like, okay, it was regular, it was normal.
On this trip, I probably discovered most about myself was my roots that tied into Africa.
I know for sure that some of us don't even want to talk about it because of the heinous activities that were involved. For some, they say it's a fairy tale. It's a concocted story that Africans are just telling to gain some sympathy somewhere. But it is not true. It was real. It happened. It happened. But how were they able to get us so easily? It was because there was already a system of slavery in place in Africa that we call the domestic slavery. They only came in to exploit and overexploit it. See what happened here, and see how we can also have a feel, perhaps, of the river that our forebears once bathed in before they were shipped, or before they walked actually from here to the castles. I remember they wore no shoes at the time. They came here barefooted. All the journey they did was on barefoot. Apart from being a sign of respect, at least you also have that experience of having to walk barefooted for the short distance.
We're first hit with the last bath.
Come with me, please.
Going to the center where the last bath is and knowing what those people had to go through. They're walking hundreds of miles across Africa, chained together, no clothes. Some are sick, some are old, and some don't make it. And if you don't make it, they just throw you to the side. And just before they go to market to go to the slave castle, they are taken to this place considered the last bath. And they walk this path down to the river. And the river is kind of divided naturally. And they have sores by this time all over their body and cuts on their feet. And getting in this water and being cleaned with leaves that give off an oil that may sting sores and so forth. They may be bleeding and they may die in the river if they can't survive. And then it goes down to the other people that's in the river, and they may be washed with the blood of the people that's bleeding. And millions died in that process over those periods of time. It's just an unbelievable thing, and people die along the route. And then they continue on to the slave castles.
To see where my ancestors and my people were dragged through and shipped over to America, that really just kind of shook me a little bit. Made me realize everything that my ancestors went through.
Just knowing that that's where they was, like cleaning themselves off with bamboo leaves, and like I was just thinking to myself, like, I wonder what they were thinking, like how scared they were, like if there were kids in the water. Like, just being in that environment was just, and we had to take off our shoes, so I was just like, man, this is getting real, because we got to feel like how they felt. We don't really learn about stuff that deep and get to experience it like that deep.
Something he said really like made me think. He told us that we wouldn't be we wouldn't even be in America if our ancestors didn't make it. And he said we come from the best, and to act like we're not the best is just disrespectful.
The Slave River, otherwise known as Ndonkonsuo. It was here they took the last bath. The buyers were here to make their selection. So the grooming had this bath as part of it. If you think about cemeteries for the captives, think about mass graves. Because it wouldn't be like you die, they bury you alone here. No, 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 no. Mass grave. Even in the castles, we have mass graves for captives who lost their lives. If you are scared, don't worry. Just touch it. That's it. The natives drink this water. It is fresh water. It is sweet. It is good. But of course, for now, the way it is, you cannot drink it. No. You can't drink it now. But it's cool. Ochi River. Ochi. Yes. Yes. But because of the activity that happened here, this area has been named the Slave River, or Ndonkonsuo. Ndonkonsuo. Ndonko means slaves, and Nsio is water. Whether you are here, whether you are there, you have the same problem. It doesn't matter where you find yourself. Once you are black, you have the same predicament. We need to unite. But know your potentials. Know deep down within yourself that, well, I am American because I'm in America. But I am an African. Because people without a history are not worth living. We got to start ourselves. Then with the help of others, we can go up there to wherever we want to go. Let's go. We'll continue talking to Alvina, don't worry. We have the north, the south, the west, and the east. There was a pole at the center, which served as a sundial to tell time, using the shadow of the pole to tell time.
Whew, the slave castle. Oh, I don't want to start crying.
When the Dutch seized this fortress from the Portuguese,
it was
1637,
so powerful.
And that above the door is for the Dutch West India Company.
Heart-wrenching as well, and to hear our guide tell us about the women and the men who endured.
So the Dutch stayed in this fortress from 1637 until they sold it to the British in 1872. Then we have two cells. Yes. The first one with the skull and the crossbone was a condemned cell. When you are thrown into that cell, you don't come back alive. So no one ever stayed in this cell and survived.
Those caves, the concrete walls, I was just like, how did they endure? How did they manage? And they only had a little bit of food, just a little bit to give them just enough strength to survive. It was just so powerful that I was left with no words when we left there. I was just speechless. And why were they put in here?
If you were rebellious, if you were a pirate, you were brought in here.
What our people endured just shows the strength and the heart that we have as a group of people.
But most of the captives who were brought in here, right, as rebellious, are not rebellious in the right sense of the word rebellious. They were freedom fighters. They were fighting for their freedom. But they were seen to be rebellious. So they were condemned to death. The lower part of the Portuguese church, which is the ground floor, was used as an auction hall. So after auction, all the female were marched straight this way to their dungeons. Because of somebody's greed, you were captured and brought in here, where 200 of you stayed in this room. 200. Occasionally, some of them were brought out into the open. Those who were brought out here were paraded such that whoever called himself the governor could pick and choose any of them for his bed. Standing up there in that balcony. If you were selected by the governor, of course, water from the ground in the cistern would be used for you to have a bath.
Going to the castle,
at least,
I had so many different visions and vibes.
You were just like any ordinary thing, like a table, anything that anybody can own. You were denied rights. Forget about rights.
Being able to feel it, touch it, smell it type of situation, it really blew my mind on what our ancestors went through.
Today, as we talk, if we allow ourselves, we might be used the same way. So please reduce your height and step down one at the door.
When he said that, it just made me realize that it's recently and that it happened and how it happened and how people treated other people just because of the color of their skin.
That's it, you're okay now? You step down one at the door, then continue straight on.
I think you said like don't think of it as a bad way because like your ancestors made it and like they survived versus other people who like went through it and they struggled and they didn't make it. So I kind of like felt like a little bit happy about that, but I was mostly like sad because it was like a lot of people died and was mistreated.
The door of no return. When you got in here, you said goodbye to Africa. If the ship left today and you arrived today, then certainly for 2 weeks you are going to be waiting here. So coming is 1 month, going another month.
I never learned it before in high school. So learning it here and not being taught in the US, I was just wow.
Africa to the Caribbean, Caribbean back to Europe. Why the triangular route? Because they bring commodities from Europe, come and sell here, use the process to buy sugar and rum from Caribbean where they sell the captives, then send these products to Europe to sell. The place was always busy. The place was always busy. Even when it was abolished or outlawed in 1833 in British West Africa, they were smuggling. They were smuggling over a long period of time. From Cape Coast Castle alone, I think between the 1700 to the 1800, 10,000 captives were shipped annually from only the Cape Coast Castle. In all, it has been estimated that about 60
The door of no return.
Africans
Man,
made the Middle Passage.
we couldn't hardly stand up. Some of us were kneeling down.
Only 20%
It was deep.
survived it.
It was deep.
The ships were afraid to come closer. What if we are attacked? So let's stay offshore, then get the canoes.
When I touched it one time, I seen a lot. I seen our ancestors going through that door, going through that journey, Yeah, that was, I get chills now even talking about it right now. That slave mentality is throughout, period. The only way you can break the chain is that you break your mental. You gotta break your invisible chains when it comes to slavery. I was having a moment because the side that we was on was the door of no return. There was that door. So I was looking at how high it was and how did our ancestors get down to the ships that was docked. And I said, wow, there's this young man out there playing basketball. My curiosity took me down there, and when I got closer, I seen they made it themselves. It was a makeshift basketball court with wood and bricks that they made themselves. Actually very exciting just to be in Africa shooting a basketball. How big is that?
Well, I'm not gonna separate myself from Africa, because before this trip, I didn't really identify myself with Africans. But now that I'm here and I see that the people here look just like me, I'm gonna try to unify myself with the people here in Africa. I'm so used to being a minority everywhere I go. I'm the only one in a room, but to see a whole continent filled with people that look like me, being in rooms with nothing but people that look like me, I really enjoyed it. That was a new experience for me.
In the U.S., I'm known as Dr. Whitaker. I'm a PhD from Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, and I have a law degree from Cleveland Marshall College of Law. And Joshua tells me that you're from the Bay Area, so I ain't hating on you because you got Steph Curry and we got LeBron, but it's all good, as you guys say. I'm a chief here in a village about a mile from here. I've been a chief there since 2004. The name of the village is Atonkwa, which literally translates, Aton means I have purchased, and Kwa means life. I have purchased my life. So I am free, because you have an opportunity that you're experiencing right now that most of your peers will never understand what it is you're doing right now. but you will have something in your heart that you can take back, and you can differentiate between the things you see going on in the hood or in the school or someplace else, and especially on Scandal and Empire and all these trash shows that we watch now. You can differentiate between those things which are unimportant and things that are very important.
I really enjoy drumming in the Slave Castle because I have drumming experience in my past playing drums, and I do like African drumming, but to actually be in Africa in the Slave Castle and being taught how to play the drums by the people that really just created and really innovated that music really inspired me to just work harder at my playing.
The Ashanti and the Feti tribe, the Portuguese made them fight against each other so they won't trust each other. And I feel like it's like a recycle, like it's happening again. Like how in the Bayview, a lot of people are fighting against each other because of a street name or because of where they're from. I think I want to tell them, like, back then they made us fight against each other so we won't trust each other, and now it's happening again. So I probably would want to tell my family that.
They wanted us to feel comfortable with them, so they gave us their nickname. Like, we were that close for them to give us the nickname. So yeah, that experience was good. We learned a lot about their way of dancing. We didn't teach them how to dance like us, but that was pretty fun. And then we got put on the spot with our performance. It was funny. We went through it a couple times. We got it in the practice for like 30 minutes. Then I just felt like it was showtime. We just had that one practice. It was fun though. It wasn't like, I don't want to do this. I never said that. I was just like, oh well.
Growing up, I see a lot of me inside of those kids, and I didn't really have anybody to tell me which direction to go or give me information on how to be successful or how I should be, or even know about my culture for that matter. And once I was exposed to it and got the understanding, it was great, I changed. But then when I got around the kids, I seen them have that same mentality that I once had. So it just inspired me to change them. They don't have to go to some of the things that I went through when I was young.
Because they feel like we're all equal. We are the same people. We are sisters, we are brothers, we are all that. So they feel like we are all family, so they should care like how we're doing.
Me and my sister.
I learned so much. Like the culture here is like, it's amazing how much people smile, and they're going through like all this poverty and all this, like, no jobs, no clean water, no shoes, no books, no pencils, and but people are still smiling.
You have to give to receive, and if nothing from nothing leaves nothing, we have to come together and create something. So as people of America, African American of course, we have to just come together and make stuff happen and we need to stop the violence really, because where we come from there's a lot of violence, and we need to turn that cycle around and make peace, because we're all the same people. It was just the most greatest trip I have ever been on. Like, I never been anywhere more beautiful. Everyone looks at it for poverty and bad housing, but I look at it as grateful people and smiles every day. That's what I've seen so far, and that's just beautiful. You never see that.
It's about working together. So don't lose sight of that. When we go back home, this ain't the end. We keep it going. Stay in contact with everybody. You need something, holler at us. We're here for you. All right?
I mean, I think the impact that he's having on kids and being able to change their lives, and then hopefully the kids will be able to touch and change someone else's life. All the kids in Bayview should be beating down Bayview's police door to get to this program. And I think with this group of kids from 2016, I think that it's gonna start. I think that you're gonna have so many applications that Officer Johnson and Officer Jackson are gonna just be overwhelmed with the amount that they're gonna have to read. So I just see it expanding and it being a movement for change, especially as it relates to Bayview and Hunters Point.
We face neither east nor west. We face forward.